In the glorious days, or before the advent of the age of Kali, the Brahmanas, the cows, the women, the children, and the old men were properly given protection. Number one, the protection of the Brahmanas maintains the institution of Varna and Ashrama, the most scientific culture for attainment of spiritual life. Number two, the protection of cows maintains the most miraculous form of food, that is, milk for maintaining the finer tissues of brain for understanding higher aims of life. Third, the protection of women maintains the chastity of society, by which we can get a good generation for peace, tranquility, and progress of life. Fourth, the protection of children gives the human form of life its best chance to prepare the way of liberty from material bondage. Such protection of children begins from the very day of begetting a child by the purificatory process of Garbhadana Samskara, the beginning of pure life. Number 5. The protection of the old men gives them a chance to prepare themselves for better life after death. This complete outlook is based on factors leading to successful humanity as against the civilization of polished cats and dogs. The killing of the above mentioned innocent creatures is totally forbidden because even by insulting them, one loses one's duration of life. In the age of Kali, they are not properly protected, and therefore the duration of life of the present generation has shortened considerably. In the Bhagavad Gita, it is stated that when the woman become unchaste for want of proper protection, there are unwanted children called Varna Shankara. To insult a chaste woman means to bring about disaster in the duration of life. Dushasana, a brother of Duryodhana, insulted Draupadi, an ideal chaste lady, and therefore the miscreants died untimely. These are some of the stringent laws of the Lord mentioned above. So, in this verse, after Ashwatthama was sent away and he was humiliated due to his offense of killing the five sons of Pandavas. So then everything was settled, and Yudhishthira, Pandavas, they all came and they performed the rituals for all the sons. So after this, it is described here that actually Duryodhana and his party cunningly usurped the kingdom of Yudhishthira. And it is mentioned that Yudhishthira is named as Ajata Shatru, means there is no enemy. Ajata means no one, and Shatru, Ajata Shatru. So there is no one considered an enemy for Yudhishthira. But still, Duryodhana was very envious of Yudhishthira. So Prabhupada mentions what was the reason. So once when Yudhishthira was performing Rajasuya Yajna, so at that time he invited all the relatives. So Duryodhana and all his sons, everybody had come. Then Yudhishthira assigned different roles for each of them. So it is mentioned that Bhimasena was given in charge of kitchen department. So Bhima is known for cooking. And Duryodhana was given in charge of supplies. And Sahadeva was given in charge of reception for all the visitors whoever comes to Yajna. And Nakula was given in charge of store department. Arjuna was in charge of taking care of elders. Like we have Janmashtami, we have so many services, so senior citizens. And the most astonishing feature was that Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, took charge of washing the feet of all the incoming guests. And Queen Draupadi was given in charge of distributing food. And Karna was given in charge of distributing charity. Like this, many devotees got different services. So after this whole thing, then Duryodhana was very captured by the palace which was built for Yudhishthira, for the Pandavas. And this palace was built by Maya Danava. He is one of the heavenly architect. So, once when Duryodhana entered the palace, and he was already bewildered by the beauty of the palace, and there were many artistic designs where you cannot make out whether you are walking on water or on land. So both looked same. So at that time, Duryodhana entered the palace, and as he started walking, he thought it is land, but it was water. So once he stepped inside the water, he fell down. At that time, all the different queens who were looking at Duryodhana and his brothers, they started laughing. So there Prabhupada mentions, Bhagavatam mentions that Yudhishthira wanted to immediately stop the queens from laughing. But Krishna told, let it be, let it continue. So in there Prabhupada mentions, Yudhishthira immediately understood that Duryodhana has become very angry upon him. But Krishna was acting as if nothing has happened. He was just silent. So Prabhupada mentions that actually it was Lord's plan that Duryodhana is insulted in this way, and he takes this grudge so that the battle of Kurukshetra happens and all of them are killed in the battle. So that's why in this verse Prabhupada mentions, by the grace of the Lord, the recovery was executed, and the unscrupulous kings who joined with Duryodhana were killed. So it was all the plan of the Lord, and due to this incidents, Duryodhana wanted to take revenge, especially from Draupadi, towards Draupadi. So that's why when they started the dice game, so Yudhishthira started keeping different wealth as a gift for the game. Then slowly, entire wealth of Yudhishthira was given away to the Kauravas. Then only thing left was Draupadi. So I think Karna or Duryodhana, so they said, why not you have this wife, beautiful wife, you give her also to us. So Yudhishthira, he couldn't say no. So he is a Dharma Raja, so he has promised whatever is required I have to give. So he has failed in the game. So the Draupadi was called, and she was given to the possession of Kauravas. So at that time Karna told, so now she belongs to us, so why not disrobe her? So then Draupadi was helpless. Draupadi is in front of all the great kings. There is Dhritarashtra, there is Bhishma, So she went and pleaded all of them, but still nobody could help her. So at that time, finally, she lifted her hands and she called for Krishna. So, like this, Krishna was constantly protecting her, protecting his Pandavas, his devotees. And due to this incidence of insulting Draupadi, here it is mentioned that all the Kauravas died untimely death. Untimely death means we are all destined to live for a particular period, for a certain age. Untimely death means in between, before that age comes, we die by accident or somebody kills us, murder. So why murder is considered sinful? Because a person is supposed to live to a particular age and somebody, you're disturbing that age. Sometimes people they support their argument that anyway you are saying everything is body is always, there is no life in body, soul is living. So when body is killed, soul is not killed. So what is wrong in killing animals? So the mistake is every species is going through different levels of consciousness. So when it comes to a particular life, animal life, it is supposed to live to that extent and it is having a particular karma. It has to fulfill all the desires. So in between, if we disturb their evolution, then we are disturbing their life, because they are supposed to experience that life, animal life, for a particular period, and so that their account becomes nullified. But in between, if somebody kills that animal, then we are interfering with its karma. So we also become implicated. So like this, the laws of nature are very stringent. We cannot understand. It's very, very complicated. Sometimes we really don't know what is good for us, what is bad for us. So once there was a village in which everybody used to consult one old man for any problems, anything. So at that time there was a farmer and he had an ox which he used for cultivating land, such things. So one day the ox died. So that time the farmer thought, this is the biggest misery in my life. So what will I do from tomorrow? Who will support me? So he went and told that old man, so don't you think this is the biggest misery in my life? Why am I facing this? Then that old man says, it may be or may not be. Means it may be the biggest misery or may not be the biggest misery. Then this farmer becomes angry at him. No, this is the biggest misery. I never faced like this problem. So then he goes away to his village. Then next day he finds one horse which was roaming around in his land. So he somehow captures that horse and starts tilling his land. So then he goes to the old man and he says, yes, what you said is correct. Because as long as ox was there, I was never thinking of I can use the horse for tilling the land. Now horse is doing very fast. So it is helping me. So don't you think it is the greatest thing I received? Then again he says, no, maybe or may not be. So again he is bewildered. So then he goes back to his village. Then because horse is there, horse means it runs very fast. So the son of the farmer, he climbs on the horse and he starts riding on the horse. So he roams around village. So when he is going around, the horse is running very fast. So once what happens, the son falls down from the horse and he gets hurt very badly on his leg. So now this farmer goes back to the old man and says, don't you think this is the biggest misery? My own son is now injured, is become so miserable. It will take months together to recover. So this is the biggest misery. Then again the old man says, maybe or may not be. So next, somehow this farmer becomes very angry. I think this is a very dumb person. Whatever I say, he'll only tell maybe or may not be. He doesn't know anything. So then he goes back to the village, and as his son is getting injured, they are doing treatment. So next day, there was some lot of commotion, and there was a war declared. Because the war was declared, they were recruiting all young people who were well built, and who are healthy. So they recruited all the young people, but his son was not recruited because his leg is injured. So then he understood, yes, what the old man told is correct. So like this, generally what we think is good for us may not be good for us. So ultimately, everything is happening according to Lord's plan. So we should understand that as devotees, we don't over endeavor to solve all the problems of the world or all the problems of our life. Everybody is having so many problems. And we think that if I solve this problem, that's over. Then everything will be happy. But after you solve that problem, there is next problem. So like this, we complicate ourselves. So life is becoming more and more complicated. So that's why here it is mentioned that in Kali Yuga, this respect for Brahmanas, the cows, the women, the children and old men, they are not actually protected in Kali Yuga. Because Kali Yuga, we don't know what is good for us, what is the value, what is good, what is bad. So we think what is Brahmana. Nowadays, protection of Brahmana means they think that you are promoting caste system. So they always they want reservation for SC/ST. There is always fight that there should be good reservation for all castes. It's not that Brahmanas should, higher class should not dominate. So actually they are not understood what is a Brahmana. So as per the Vedic civilization, Brahmana was considered the head of the society. He is like the brain. In the body we have so many things. So there is head, there is stomach, there is legs. So the Brahmanas is considered the head. So Prabhupada mentions the Brahmanas maintains the institution of Varna and Ashrama, the most scientific culture for attainment of spiritual life. Because in human form of life, the main goal is self-realization. And Brahmanas, they are promoting self-realization. So what is the duty of Brahmanas? So Krishna mentions samodama tapas shaucham. So they have to be equality, they have to maintain equality, and they have to perform austerity, cleanliness. Gnanam Vijnanam Astikyam. They are very knowledgeable. Vijnanam means they are fully realized this knowledge. And they are honest So these are all the qualities of a Brahmana, a first class person. And it is required in today's society, because today's society, generally the world leaders think the problem in today's society is poverty. They don't think the problem in today's society is about honesty or values in life. They don't understand these things. They only think why people are suffering, because they are poverty stricken. Once there is money, once the economic condition is improved, then there will not be any problem. But these days, if you analyze, there is something called as first world problems. First world problems are, actually they are not problems, but the people who are living in first world, they think it is a very big problem. So what are the examples? So it is mentioned that suppose there is no Wi-Fi for 1 hour, it's a big problem. Suppose there is no power for 10 minutes, power cut is there, it's a big problem. So like this, they have analyzed, these are all first world problems. Means actually from the existential point of view, it's not a problem, but we have created so many artificial needs for us. So today if you don't have a smartphone, it's a big problem. So by getting smartphone, we are thinking we are becoming more and more smart. These days, generally people say, these days kids are very smart. Immediately you give them one mobile or tablet, they know how to operate. So civilization is becoming, evolution is advancing. Children are becoming more intelligent. But if you analyze, on the other hand, in previous ages, children used to learn just by going to Gurukul and hearing from the spiritual master. So today, the scientists have analyzed the attention span of the children has reduced so much. If you bring a child and keep him in one place for 10 minutes, it's not possible. He's thinking of hundreds of things. He's thinking of TV, he's thinking of, so his friends are, so many things are disturbing him. So like this, the attention span has reduced. So that's why in today's schools, they say we have to do interactive education. It's not just hearing from the teacher, it should be interactive. So in every school there should be one iPad. So it is interactive. So like this, as civilization progresses, we think we are becoming smart, but we are becoming more and more dependent on all these gadgets, technology, and we are not using our potential. So in previous ages, children used to just learn by hearing. So today, if you don't have an iPad, they'll say, I cannot go to school. So it has become like that. So as civilization progresses, the people think they don't know the real value of life. They are thinking they are becoming smart. Just like in smartphone, we can do so many things. So just by a click of a button, you can send one email to someone in America. So life becomes easy. That's how it is. Everything is promoted. Any new technology is promoted in such a way that they promote that if you have this, then life becomes easy. But the fact is, more and more technology becomes advanced, and more we start using it, we become dependent on that. Just like now, in Bangalore, the biggest problem is traffic. So to solve this problem, we are making metro. So once metro is there, then everywhere from here to Whitefield you can reach in half an hour. So we in spite of all traffic problems, so we become very fast. So after that, another problem will start. What will happen is, people who are staying in Pinya will start looking for job in Whitefield, because anyway half an hour I can travel. So as advancement technology progresses, the problems also will increase. But a devotee, if he uses the same technology in Krishna consciousness, he will not become entangled. So for everything there is use and misuse. So internet, there is use, there is misuse. So devotee knows exactly how to use everything in Lord's service. So that's why Krishna also mentions in Bhagavad Gita, just like a tortoise, when it is required, it will open its hands, legs, it will come out of the shell. When it is not required, it will be inside. So devotee should be like that. Sometimes somebody goes to another extreme. No, we are all practicing Krishna consciousness, devotional service. So we should be cut off from this entire technology. It's very easy to cut off everything, but it is difficult to be just like internet. Cut off internet, very easy. Just be away. But to rightly use everything, so that has to be practiced. So devotee should not become entangled in all this technology. So we use technology, but for the sake of Krishna, Krishna's devotional service. So as devotees, we have to be very careful in using the resources. And Prabhupada also mentions, whatever is discovered, ultimately the Lord is inspiring from within the heart. So many discoveries, if you see, it was discovered by accident. It's mentioned that the light was discovered. There was more than 10,000 experiments conducted. But one time, by chance, some particular experiment was done. It was not planned, and suddenly light was created. So like this, so many discoveries, it was created by accident. So they say it is accident, but there is a Lord's plan. So Lord is ultimately controlling all situations. Generally people think we are becoming more and more in control of this nature. In previous ages, people were not controlling nature. Now we have full control. We have changed the face of earth. But actually, all the big things, if you see, Lord has decided that we have to live up to this many years. And all this new technology, gadgets, computers and aeroplanes, Prabhupada says, these things are nothing new. Skyscrapers were already there in previous ages also. There were Vimanas in previous ages also. They were much more subtle. Now technology we have is very gross. So we are thinking we are progressing in civilization, but actually everything is within the plan of the Lord. So Kali Yuga, what is the age of Kali Yuga? It is defined, 4,32,000 years. And it cannot go on after that. Lord will come and control. So materialists are thinking that gradually we are taking control of this world. But actually, Prabhupada mentions in the purport to Hare Krishna mantra, we are trying to control the material nature, but the living entity is becoming more and more entangled in her complexities. Material nature is very, very complex. If you eat more than required, immediately you become unhealthy. So where is the control? So actually speaking, there is very less control. What we think we have control is very, very less. Everything is happening as per the laws of nature. Prakrute kriyamanani gunai karmani sarvasha. So just like we think I have the freedom to lift my hand. This is my body, I can lift my hand. But this is also under the nature, control of Prakriti. When you are not healthy, when the hand becomes paralyzed, then your own hand you cannot lift. So that's why Bhagavatam mentions that sometimes people analyze our body belongs to whom. So there are different kinds of theories. One person says body belongs to me. I can do whatever I want. Another theory is body belongs to our parents. They gave birth to us. Another theory is body belongs to our community, our family. Another theory is body belongs to the state, government. So whatever government does, according to that we have to follow. But ultimately, Bhagavatam mentions the body belongs to the material nature. Because at a certain point of time, this body was not there. At a certain point of time, when the child is developed within the womb of a mother, it is taking the ingredients from material nature, Prakriti. So what is this body made up of? Earth, water, fire, air, ether. So these elements, 5 elements, are coming from the material nature, and ultimately it will go back to material nature. So what belongs to us is nothing. So the soul is identifying itself with his body, and he is trying to satisfy the needs of the body. So that's why Prabhupada mentions that here today's civilization is like polished cats and dogs. Means they are also, all animals have, every living entity has bodily needs, eating, sleeping, mating and defending. So a human being is also having the same needs. And human being is trying to surpass animals in these needs. Just like dog can walk at a certain speed. So we think, but just like there was once, the first time one car was discovered, they said it as horseless carriage. Means without a horse, you can have a carriage, you can go around. So it was considered a very big discovery. So we have advanced in civilization. So Prabhupada mentions this is nothing but a dog is running on four legs and we are running on 4 wheels. So we may have very polished civilization. You may have Mercedes Benz, Rolls Royce, very comfortable. But if you don't know your destination, after sitting in the car, where to go, if you are misled, then there is not really worth discovering all these things. So that's why Prabhupada mentions that without Krishna, all these big things are like big zero. It may be 10 zeros or 100 zeros or 1000 zeros. Everything is zero unless you add Krishna. So once you add Krishna, then everything becomes valuable. You can use all this technology for Lord's service, in devotional service. So as per the Vedic civilization, Uh, all these living entities are supposed to be protected in a protected environment. So Prabhupada mentions today's women are not protected. So because they are not protected, they feel that women should be given independence. Women should be free to do whatever she wants. And as the age progressed, even the men who are exploiting women, they favored that woman should become independent. Why? Because more and more she becomes independent, they can exploit her. So as women became independent, here Prabhupada mentions that she became the cause for unwanted children, Varna Shankara. So today's society is considered, everybody promotes liberal. Everything should be liberal. Girls, boys, they should do whatever they want. There should be freedom to do. But as per Bhagavad Gita, there is more and more indulgence of opposite sex. The civilization goes down more and more. So as woman becomes unchaste, then it leads to Varna Shankara, where there is no proper child taking birth. Means they're all Varna, they don't have Varna Shankara. Without any Varnas, they're not properly trained, they're not qualified. So in previous ages, it is mentioned that before the child before the man and woman unites, husband and wife unites, there is something called as Garbhadana Samskara. So this samskara is performed so that when the child, an appropriate child, takes birth and the child is properly trained right before the beginning of birth itself. But today these samskaras are not followed. So because these samskaras are not followed, then it increases the sinful population. So in Kali Yuga it is said practically everybody is a Shudra. So in that sense, generally it is mentioned in Chanakya Pandit says women are less intelligent. But in Kali Yuga it doesn't apply. Everybody is less intelligent. So unless you are a devotee, that's why Prabhupada says if a woman is devotee, then she is intelligent. So man is not a devotee, is not intelligent. So that way, intelligence in Kali Yuga, everybody is Manda Sumanda Matayo. Everybody is less intelligent. So in Kali Yuga, the only way to come to understand the value of life is to come to take to the instructions of the Vedas, of the scriptures. So that's why Brahmanas are considered very important. And but today's society, they always accuse devotees. Why you should build big temples? Why are you wasting money? The same money you can invest in distributing food to poor people. Why you should have big temples? Because they don't know the value of self-realization. They don't know what is spiritual life. So unless they come to spiritual life, they will not understand the value of Brahmanas, devotees, and cows. So cow is the milk which comes from the cow. It helps in understanding higher values of life. Prabhupada mentions here milk for maintaining the finer tissues of brain for understanding higher aims of life. So somebody is drinking cow milk, he can easily understand the values of spiritual life. And somebody will say, what is so important about spiritual life? You're saying everything is meant for self-realization. So what will I get if I become self-realized? So what we get is our own, for our own benefit. So today, we don't know what is our real benefit. We are only thinking, if this body senses are satisfied, I become satisfied. So that's why Krishna mentions that whatever we considered as happiness in material life is nothing but senses come in touch with sense objects. So eyes wants to see something beautiful, ear wants to hear some nice sounds, pleasing sound. So these things are interpreted as happiness. But Krishna mentions that spiritual happiness, real happiness, is above the senses. Whatever sensual happiness which we are experiencing, it is there available even for animals. So that's why Bhagavatam mentions Vishaya Kalu Sarvatra, that in this human form of life, which is achieved very rarely, we have this facility which is not available for other animals. Animals are also very expert in enjoying sensual happiness. Animals can eat anything, there is no restriction, they can have sex with anyone, they'll not see brother, sister, mother, there is no restrictions. So, but human being, he has to understand, come to a finer understanding of life. It should not be on the sensual level. So above sensual level is mental level, means mind, to trying to satisfy the mind. So how is mind satisfied? By some poetry, by some art, dance, like this. So these are all considered mental satisfaction. And above that is intellectual satisfaction. Intellectual satisfaction means you're curious about something. You want to discover what is out there. So to understand our curiosity, they launch on Curiosity satellite. So they send one big rocket, Curiosity, to Mars. Why? To understand what is happening there. And they spend so many billions of dollars. So somebody can say, why you are spending so much billions of dollars? Instead of that, you can help poverty people, poor people. Nobody will say that, because it's an intellectual quest. We want to understand what is out there in the space. We want to conquer space. So it's given very high value. So similarly, spiritual life means understanding about the self, which is higher than all these levels. So that's why Krishna mentions that senses are superior to dull matter, and mind is superior to the senses. Intelligence is superior to mind, because sometimes the mind may go away by emotions, but intelligence can decide, yeah, no, this is not correct, so you have to obey this. So, but the self is even above the intelligence, and that self is our own self. So, in the material consciousness, it is like we are covered by this body, mind, senses, and we are artificially thinking these are all my desires. So when we are in a man's body, we are attracted by female's body. When somebody is in a female body, is attracted by man's body. So that attraction actually is based on the body which we have been given. It's ingrained within the body system. So this body is a very complex machine. That's why Krishna mentions it is a yantra rudani mayayam. This machine can think, feel and will. Although it appears just like sometimes we have a conflict in our mind whether to do this or not to do this. So one side your mind is saying you have to do this, other side mind is saying no, you should not do this. So there is a conflict. So mind appears as almost like a person. But Krishna says it is just a machine. These days we have mobile phones. You ask some question, it will answer. So do you think there is somebody living inside? No. It's all based on some algorithm. So it's made like that. You ask this question, it will give answer. So similarly, our mind is a very complicated machine based on all our past conditioning. It has learnt certain things. This is good, this is bad, everything. So once you are in some situation, automatically it will say, no, you don't do this, do this. So mind is giving us signals. So Krishna says that in the present condition, our mind is our enemy. So mind has to become our friend. So that's why whole Bhagavad Gita, Krishna mentions that this is our enemy. Mind is an enemy and we have to make it our friend. So for somebody, both mind can be enemy or somebody mind can be a friend. So it depends on how much we are self-realized. For a self-realized person, he has full control over his mind, body, senses. But whereas a materialist, he has no control over his mind and senses. So whatever the mind will say, he has to follow. And they think that is called freedom. Whatever I like, I will do. That is freedom. So that's called liberal society. I should be able to eat what I want. There should not be any restriction. We say, no, cows you should not kill. No, why? I have the choice. You should go. Food means I have the choice to do what I can eat whatever I want. There should not be any restrictions. So they don't understand this thing. So more and more they try to become independent. They are becoming more and more entangled with the material nature. They are performing sinful activities. So you kill another animal, we become implicated in sinful activities. Whereas a devotee, it appears that devotee has so many restrictions. We have to first of all follow 4 regulative principles. No meditating, no intoxication, no gambling, no illicit sex. And these things are considered very great enjoyment. So today if somebody announces a party, what is a must? Must is boozing. Unless a party if you say something is party means there should be some drinks. Otherwise it's not a party. So for whatever reason, party also, they take drinks and somebody becomes sad, again they go for drinks. So there is no, they have no much choice. Whereas a devotee, he is following regulated, disciplined life and he is becoming free from all the material pangs, material miseries. So the clue is we should have a balance. We cannot fully reject everything. At the same time, we have to follow a disciplined life. So devotee life, disciple means discipline. So we have to have discipline, especially in devotional life. There should be discipline. I have to chant every day, 16 rounds. So sometimes we feel like doing, sometimes we may not feel like doing, but we should have a discipline. Yes, I committed myself to the spiritual master, so I will follow. I will read Prabhupada books. So devotee should become disciplined, more disciplined. By this way, our devotional service is called Vidhi Bhakti. Sometimes some devotees says that right now I don't have taste for all these spiritual practices. So when I get taste, I'll automatically follow. It becomes easy. So why Krishna is not giving me taste? If the taste is there, I know that it is spiritual, like enjoyment is much higher. But because I am not on that platform, so right now I am going back to material taste. So as long as we are attached to material taste, we will not get spiritual taste. So bhakti means detachment. It's like if you want to be situated on two boats simultaneously, is it possible? No. You cannot keep one leg on one boat, other leg on other boat. So we have to stand on one boat. So once you decide that you have to become devotee, then we have to stick to the process. We should not be moody. Actually, what is moody is mind is moody. Mind is like very sometimes some moody people. They're like you go to Nimans, they'll be doing the same activity again and again. So they'll not know that they have taken food. Again they'll go back. Where is my food? So when somebody, so our material life is considered that we have become haunted by ghosts. All these material desires, actually it doesn't belong to the soul. Soul is completely pure. So whatever desires are there, these are all like our haunted, we are haunted ghost. It doesn't belong to us. So if you support the desires of the mind, then it is not our desires. It is ghostly desires. You are only supporting the ghost. So the ghost will satisfy its desires and it will go away. Finally, we remain suffering. So the soul, some people say, why the soul is held responsible for all these things? Now you say everything is based on our mind. Based on three modes of material nature, we are acting. Living entity is acting. So, if that is the case, why is the soul considered responsible? Because we are all controlled by Prakriti. Thinking, feeling, willing, everything is controlled. So, the main thing is the soul has decided to identify himself with this body, with his mind, with his intelligence. So, he is becoming entangled. Just like if you take a dog in America, if they take a dog to the street and the dog passes stool, so who has to clean? The owner is responsible. Owner will be fined for that. The dog is not responsible. Who did the who created mess? Dog created mess. But you are held responsible because you brought the dog. So like this, everybody has so many desires. So if you are attached to the desire, then you become responsible. So for a devotee also, as long as we have this body, there will be material desires. Impulses will be there. Till the point of death, there will be impulse. But devotee should become intelligent. Desires will come and it will go. You don't take that desire. So that's why Krishna mentions Matra Sparshastu Kaunteya Sitoshna Sukha Dukkada. The seasons will come, but you tolerate. Summer will come, it's very painful. There is no wind and you need good air. You are not able to breathe properly, but you tolerate and it will pass over. Winter will come. Again, winter you sing, oh, when will summer come? So that's why Krishna says in material world, all kinds of happiness and distress is a mental concoction. So real happiness is above the senses. Above the senses, the self, the soul has to enjoy. And what is the soul? Soul's nature is to enjoy unlimited happiness. Satchid Ananda. Soul wants Satchid Ananda. But it is looking through this material world in a wrong place. And Krishna is the ocean of Satchid Ananda. So unless the spirit soul comes in touch with Krishna, it can never be happy. So sometimes people say, why Krishna is saying you have to surrender to me? So Krishna is very egoistic. He declares, there is no one superior to me. So, but the fact is, why Krishna is saying all this? Because it is for our own good. Just like if somebody says, when you are called for a feast and they'll put one condition that I'll serve you a nice feast, but you should not put it inside your mouth. So you can enjoy. So is it considered a feast? No. Food means it has to go inside the stomach. Then only you can enjoy. So the Lord is telling, you surrender unto me. Put the food in the stomach so that you become happy. So if you say, no, why I should put food in the stomach? I should enjoy, this hand should enjoy. Then we cannot be happy. So, Mamayavamsho Jiva Loke Jiva Bhuta Sanatana. Krishna says that these living entities, they are nothing but my own amshas. They are my part. They belong to me. So, because we all belong to Krishna, although we are rebel against Krishna, Krishna as a loving father, he comes again and again. And he is always with us as the super soul. He is guiding us. At the same time, even externally, he comes as an incarnation. He comes as a pure devotee to deliver the fallen souls. So, if somebody comes in touch with a pure devotee, he is to be considered a very, very fortunate person. And it's very, very rare. Prabhupada says this Sankirtana Yajna, this is the age of 10,000 years, where after Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared, the next 10,000 years is considered golden age. So within this golden age, the souls have the opportunity to take to spiritual life and very fast progress. In previous ages, to progress in spiritual life, they have to go to forest, practice tapasya, meditation, so many years. But in this age, only thing you have to do is chant Hare Krishna. And it is the greatest activity. So what is the greatest activity a devotee can do? Anytime, anywhere, chant Hare Krishna. So this is available for all of us anytime, anywhere. But we don't see it as a greatest activity because it has become a routine. So, but nevertheless, the value is there. When a person doesn't understand, suppose You give 1,000 rupee note to a monkey, it will not understand. So, because the monkey doesn't understand the value of 1,000 rupee note, does it decrease? No, that value is there. So, it's a question we have to use the gift which Prabhupada has given us. So, that's why it's called matchless gift which Prabhupada has given us. And we should implement what Prabhupada has told. So that way, we'll make very fast progress in spiritual life. So we'll stop here. Kandaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki.